opens it up, bangs it a goal. He's got it. One for the ages. No, it's touched the post.
Hello and welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host for today, Nikki. Thursday Lines is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, Hunting Form, topsport.com.au and The Comics Lounge. I have MG in the studio with me today. How you going?
Well, Nikki, geez, plenty going on. What a week of sport, and there's dramas everywhere. The AFL code's having some issues. And,
NRL's got some
NRL,
issues.
which we'll touch on shortly with Toprope. But yeah, I'll before we go to Toprope, I'll start off the AFL. Obviously, with just quickly, I guess some positive news for Gold Coast. They've got Hardwick named as their new coach. I love the story they try and spin on it that, it was just done last week in Italy and all that, what they go on with this week. This deal was done months ago. Seriously.
I mean, if it was a nice way to write off a trip to Italy, for the Gold Coast, if that was a good way for the who went over the CEO.
Yes.
Did he just say, it was I need a way to write off my $70,000 trip or something to Italy. I better go over and get Hardwick.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, it's a big turnaround Toprope on Hardwick going up to the Gold Coast. He was burnt out 3 months ago, so it's the quickest burnout in history, I think. He's
it's going as well to be the end guy's boxing career.
He was quoted in the press conference by himself that he's hungrier than ever now. So fair dinkum.
Talk about burying the lead, though. Seriously, look, here's the true story. OB leaves the AFL bunker, and all of a sudden the umpiring's a shambles in the AFL.
But they've actually admitted that they did it wrong. Like, they've admitted it. They've come out and said, "Oh, okay, we got that wrong."
They cannot survive without OB. They cannot survive without OB. That's all I'm taking.
Can't change it for this week. Promise we'll get it right for the finals. Are you even allowed to do? Like, how do you do that? What compensation did the clubs get where you've admitted you got it wrong?
Yeah, well, 2 weeks in a row they had to admit it. So. It's just been a debacle. The Petrarca one, I don't understand why this week's got more uproar than the week before.
Yeah.
I know, listen, Adelaide miss out on finals as a result, and it probably interferes with two or three other sides potentially getting the spot. But the week before with Petrarca's goal was just as bad. And when we look back at the season, if Melbourne don't get close or winning the Premiership and having home finals, that decision's worse.
I want to know, surely of all the officiating jobs in all of the world of sport, that can be none easier than being a goal umpire in the AFL. Like, seriously, how do you mess that up? Like, just bring back the butcher's coats and get them to do their Larry signals. That's all they've got to do. How hard is it? It's seriously the easiest job in sport.
I would tend to agree with that. Like, surely you can tell if the ball's gone through the sticks or not. Like, it's hard. Like, if it hits the post, it's not hard.
It clearly is. It's got issues because this is not last week's game with Adelaide Sydney. It's not the week before with Melbourne. This is an ongoing. We've had a beef with this all year, and there's been errors pretty much every single week. So let's not pretend this is a new issue or whatever. And I love someone's quote where they said it's $1 billion game with a $5 scoring system, and that at the end of the day, what it is, they don't want to make the umpires professional, whether that'll make a difference or not. We've talked about this before, but for Adelaide to get their beef, and it's not the first time they've been cost a match. Also, there was a terrible free kick that also cost them a match early in the year. And just on that, Adelaide fans should be directing more at their players for their inaccuracies. They've lost 6 games as a direct result through bad kicking this year. So let's not pretend also that they missed the finals just because of a bad umpiring decision. Their problems are far deeper than that. They had a very good year and they just couldn't finish through their efficiencies on the field more than what the umpires cost them as well. But, yeah, they need a major overhaul. Unfortunately, our man OB's left the building. It's just become chaotic. So they're going to have a major overhaul and just hope during the finals that we don't have an incident that does cost the team progressing, for a chance to win a grand final. So,
true.
Yeah, it's a big subject. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to cover it all in this one, but very disappointing. It's a bad look for the game, and both the umpires and the scoring system need a major overhaul in the off-season.
Big news out of South Sydney yesterday. What is going on with South?
Thought you were throwing me in the assessment of the AFL goal umpiring there, Nikki.
We don't need to go into we can spend a bit of time on the bunker system up there, Toprope. Some of the decisions this year have been horrendous.
Well, let's start on the bunker before we get to South. What about this? Grant Atkins got demoted for a Larry try on the 8th tackle in the Knights in a 70 tackle set and gets demoted to get three bunker games. Now, seriously, if that's how the NRL are viewing the bunker, given the role they've got in the game, absolute disgrace. That is bloke who's supposed to have been demoted will now play a key role in deciding a match deciding 3 matches over the weekend. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
That's crazy. And I'm assuming these 3 which matches does he get? Do you know?
It'll be out there. I'm not sure. I like to keep it a surprise to direct my hatred and try and guess who is actually in the box when about it comes out, because I'm going to see off how they all going to operate. Heaven help the Bulldogs don't have Casey Badger. But yes, Souths. What a capitulation it's been. They kind of a few weeks ago, T-shirts made about their big road trip, and it has been absolute schmozzle, to put it lightly. And that loss against Newcastle really seemed to bring things to a head, and kind of we've seen the split this week. Sam Burgess has departed the club as an assistant coach. There's clearly a divide between Latrell Mitchell and Cameron Murray. Yes, Blake Solly's coming out, defending the club, defending the students for Sam and the Rabbitohs to part ways. And the biggest rumour doing the rounds is that Wayne Bennett could be back in 2025 to coach the Rabbitohs. So
no,
mentoring Sam Burgess. I'd be surprised if it was the mentoring Sam Burgess part, but we'll see how he goes at Warrington. But I would take better than even money that Wayne Bennett will be head coach of the South Sydney Rabbitohs in 2025.
Holy moly! How old will Wayne be then?
Doesn't matter. Wayne will die in the coaching box. Wayne has no, most people have other lives that they want to get to. They have his only priority is to earn a lot of money coaching rugby league for his son, who's got some plenty of challenges, and to coach rugby league. And he will just coach it until he dies. Like Wayne Bennett, there's a fair show that Wayne Bennett will die on the sideline. I tell my own. He will keep getting jobs because he keeps getting results. No matter that the Dolphins didn't make the finals this year, there was under no measurement did the Dolphins underachieve this year. They were the raging hot favourites to win the Wooden Spoon. They haven't been in Wooden Spoon contention all year. They've come out with the Roosters in round 1, and they have done nothing but over-exceed their expectations all year. So, Wayne's going to find jobs, and clubs want to find Wayne, because when you look at some of the absolute morons who are given head coaching jobs these days, Anthony Seibold is third gig. If Wayne Bennett wants a job, Wayne Bennett get a job at about 12 different clubs.
Let's go through some scores from AFL.
Yeah, it seems a long time ago.
Let's go. Come on.
Every week seems to drag out longer and longer as we get closer. But round 23 for the AFL. Actually got late tickets to this game, so thanks very much for sneaking me in there, even though it wasn't near a sellout. Plenty of empty seats again for the AFL. So they should
wouldn't have been in the outer, MG. It wouldn't have been in the outer, I'm guessing.
No, it wasn't in the outer Toprope. As I said, I got looked after. I put out a call and delivered. So beers were cold, very good game, and the right result. So the overs flew over there in Brisbane. Continue on their merry way. It was a very good game to watch, though. High standard, and hopefully some of the finals are of this level. Running through the rest, Richmond send off 2 of their champions, Cochin and Rewalt. Kangaroos lose 20 in a row. Ooh. So they're going well. Carlton got the job done over Gold Coast. Strange match. Gold Coast led by 40 points early and were on fire, and then just hit the wall and stopped, and Carlton ran over them to get the win there. Unfortunately, your team, Nikki, I think you've sacked Essendon by now, surely. They got absolutely smashed. This was a final. The loser was out, and Essendon rock up and get beaten by that amount and only score 36 points. Is disgraceful. St Kilda get the job done against Geelong, who seem to have checked out early, and they've certainly checked out for this week, which we'll talk about shortly. But St Kilda, 6 on the ladder and going very well. And there was a good win. Defence again, they can't be scored against at this stage. Sydney get the controversial win against Adelaide, where obviously we won't go into too much detail, but Keys kicked the goal and the umpire balls it up and did make them not get into the finals. West Coast get the massive upset against the Bulldogs. What an error from the Bulldogs. I'm not sure how they lost this match. Watching the replay again, I think the Bulldogs just assumed that they were still going to get the win, even though West Coast were competitive to the edge. So now Bulldogs need GWS to lose their last round, and they need to beat Geelong to get in the final, so it's out of their own hands. Melbourne get the job done against Hawthorn. It was a pretty ordinary match. Melbourne just defensive orientated, get the job done, and Port Adelaide got the job against Fremantle, who have packed it in for the season.
Thanks, MG. Okay, so a quick wrap of the bookie wrap. We had 6 of 9 faves, 3 of 9 covers, 3 of 9 over totals, and 4 of 9 for the home teams. And for the season, that takes us to 67% of faves, 47% covers, 52% over totals, and 51% for the home team.
Yeah, pretty even week. Not much to report. Low scoring, and there's a few disappointing results. So stats are pretty much where they are. They're close to the 50 mark, and the favourites are getting up around the 70%.
The Sharkies, top rope.
Yeah, Sharks did a job in the Cowboys. Cowboys jumped to another lead there, but hearing for the Sharks, the Cowboys now have to win out to sneak to the finals on the 32-12. Warriors Seagulls, controversial game according to some at least. Warriors won 29-22. It was 22-all late in the game when a charge down Seagulls field goal led to Ruben Garrick jumping high in the air and landing on his back. But that was play on 6. No rule was broken. That was very well officiated, that one. The Warriors went to score a try for that and deserved a win there. Roots of Sunday, it was very, very poor. Very, very poor. They've got Mitchell Mose on the sideline, but they've been pretty poorly coached at the moment. Their lack of creativity is really kind of coming to the fore on the Roosters, making it like around that last game against South. We're possibly going to decide a final spot in that one, so that's going to be fascinating. Last round affair, final start a week early. Dolphins 24-23. You wouldn't believe it. Appy Coruscant from the sideline, not a recognised goal kicker. Took a sideline kick from about 32, 33 out. Those, their Plastato assume that was about a 45, 46 metre kick. Hit the crossbar, went over the post, so something for the AFL players to have a look at. It went through the middle. Panthers beat the Titans 40-14. Betting note there, those are the Titans plus, absolutely heartbroken in the end. They led it early, the Titans, and they were down by 8 with about 20 to go, and the Blues by 26 live plus 21.5. Storm 38-28 in that absolute shootout up at Wollongong. Knights 29, Bunnies 10. Knights all over South at 7 wins on the trot for the Knights. Brendan Mars got a hat trick there, and in a pretty low game, and the Raiders beat the Bulldogs 36-24.
Little bookie wrap for the NRL. So 6 of 8 faves, 3 of 8 covers, 6 of 8 over totals, and 4 of 8 for the home team. And for the season, that takes us to 69% of faves, 47% of covers, 48% over totals, and 57% for the home team.
Yeah, it's not a lot of to note there for the season. It's all kind of about where you would expect. But what we're seeing in the last few weeks is a lot of favourites are winning, but they're absolutely not putting teams to the sword. So they're not covering these massive starts that are going on. So, we're seeing favourites, and we're seeing those kind of mulching up, those shorties are collecting all the cash lately, but Monsters not covering.
Thanks, Toprope. It is going to be a great end to the NRL season because we've got a few games that are going to, like you said, there'll be a couple that will decide who plays in the 8, which is great. All right, shall we take out the global wrap quickly for the global wrap? Victor Hovland, take me through the BMW.
That was absolutely nuts. That's final round of the BMW. Scotty Scheffler. I haven't had a look at the fair prices there, but I dare say he traded sub $1.10. 9 under final round, but of course Scheffler beat Hovland to win the BMW Championship and set up I won't say thrilling to a championship final this week. There's probably no more boring grand final in sports around the world than the Tour Championship, especially with this staggered start. It's not a stall give, PGA Tour event, so pretty ridiculous. But Hovland, very big win, and shows he really does belong in that kind of top tier elite level of all golf. That 9 is about as good as it gets.
This week, Top Rope, the Tour Championship, it moves to. Have you got a tip outside? Obviously, Scheffler's very short at around the 238 mark. McIlroy's at 450. Hovland at 540. Is there anyone outside the top 3, or is Scheffler just one and done in this?
Well, Scheffler's probably going to win it, but the betting market I'll be looking at is the 72 hole winner, taking away the start. I am backing Max Homer. I think Max Homer is a very good show this week. Kind of in that range where he knows he needs to go low to win, but he didn't try and defend the lead, but he's close enough to be able to do it. And one a Smokey, well, you get 125 to 1 on him being having the lower 72 holes. Taylor Moore, you get 125 to 1, 751 for him to win it all. He's a long way back, but absolutely loves Donald Ross courses, so I'll be looking at those two as my main plays this week.
US Open?
Yeah, US Open. So in the tennis, we just finished up with the Cincinnati Masters as an important lead into the US Open. So just quickly, the men's had an epic final between the top two favourites in the US Open between Djokovic and Alcaraz. It was unbelievable. The last two sets were tie breaks. Djokovic saved, he was down a set and also down a break. So to come back and create all kinds of records and extend his lead in the amount of Masters won in the major tournaments. So we've actually seen a shift in the betting for the US Open now. Alcaraz was favourite, and they've actually probably swap positions and also the price now. So Djokovic there, you can see his favourite, very much a two-horse race, out to Medvedev at 9.25, and it gets out really quickly after that. So it's just these two are going at it at the moment. It's the old and the young, and they're putting on some classic battles. So it'll be one of theirs to lose, and hopefully they make a final as good as the Cincinnati Masters. Just quickly in the women's, we've got Swiatek, their favourite, at 3.25. Zabalenka, they've been the two dominant players this year. Goff just won the Cincinnati in the women's, so she's into $8. Rybakina at the 9.25, and then you can see it gets out the gate. So just beware in the women's at 12 of the last 16 majors, they've all had different winners. So it's generally, it's not a favourites event for the women at the moment as opposition to the men's.
Amazing. And then what do we got? The FIBA Men's World
Cup. World Cups keep rolling on in 23. So just quickly, it actually starts tomorrow. It's in 3 different countries throughout Asia and Japan, Philippines and Indonesia. We can see the betting there on screen. USA, dominant favourites at $1.80. France, a second pick, $8.25. Australia now have replaced Canada for third pick. They've swapped $10, Canada $11. Spain at 12 and Serbia at 13. So Australia actually kick off. There's 8 round 1 matches tomorrow at different times, all found at Top Sport. We'll just have a quick look at the Australian one. They play Finland in their opening match at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. The line there, Australia $1.17 in the head-to-head, line of 10.5 and the total at 169. So follow that for, I think it goes for a month. So there's plenty of matches on each day. And as you can see, Australia have got a chance at a medal. So it'll be good viewing.
Okay, now the nitty-gritty. It is time for Thursday Lines, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Okay, let's go to the AFL Premiership.
Yeah, it's a premiership. So it's Collingwood at $3.70 at the top there, Brisbane $4, Melbourne at $4.40, Adelaide at $5.50, and Carlton are nestled in there at the $8.75. The rest shake out pretty hard. So yeah, there's a few matches. Not all matches this week have got bearings on it, and different clubs will know their fate going into their matches. But yeah, there's most places are up for grabs, and the market will shuffle around what happens obviously this round, and we'll check out next week. But yeah, there's 5 dominant teams at the moment.
Thanks, MG. Now, how'd you go last week?
Started well. Friday night was good. Wish I pulled up stumps after that. After that, it was a bit wobbly. So yeah, 2 of 5. Slight loss there again. So yeah, the percentage keeps falling. Hasn't been a great month. So I've got to fire up for the final series here, and I find this week very, very tough. Being the last week, there's a lot of teams that are not trying, have packed in, or on holidays and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to tread warily this week, and hopefully have a good final series.
Of course you will. I know you will. Got your back. All right, Toprope, talk me through the NRL. Come on. How can the Panthers be 2-10? This is sickening.
Go after it.
No.
It's sad. It's sad 2-10, but I will say, sound the alarms. The Pap is back.
The Pap is back.
We'll play this week, and hopefully we'll see the Storm continue to shorten up. There's no way the Warriors win the Premiership over anyone below them. So the only one you can make a case for, you can make a case for South, you can make a case for the Roosters. Only one of them's going to make it, if any of them. So wouldn't want to be jumping on too soon. But yeah, it's hard to compare and losing. So.
And how'd you go last week?
Continuation of how things have been going. So very, very poor run again. So that's what was unfortunate. So too many favourites winning and not covering.
Yeah, like we touched on before. Okay, that's all right. We're going to get to finals soon. It's all going to happen. Do you want to take me through this first game? This is going to be awful. The Bombers and, I don't know how this can be Friday night. Okay, Friday night, 7:50, Essendon take on Collingwood. Essendon, 4:30, Collingwood, $1.20. The line is 29.5, over under 173.5.
Well, they put this fixture on because they thought Essendon would be playing for a spot in the finals, and they ballsed it up. So it's, So in this game, it's a bit of a concern. Collingwood have got to win to guarantee top spot, but it's kind of weird because it doesn't really make a difference if they finish first or second, which they locked into if Brisbane win. They'll still get a home final at the MCG. It just matters who they play. So Essendon's season is obviously over, so it's very hard to judge upon this game. The betting has gone a bit Essendon's way, which is not surprising because Collingwood's have got a few out, but yeah, it's open 31s down to 29. The total hasn't really moved. It's a bit hard to kind of tip you in. Collingwood have won the last 3 straight. Head-to-head, they've won 13 of the 21.
Yeah.
So it does lean with them. They played in round 6 and Collingwood got the job done by 13 points. So everything points to a Collingwood victory. I doubt whether Essendon would get up for this game to win. It's pretty hard to get into the margin. I think the total's about right. 173 is high enough, but Collingwood have been in 8 straight over games. So they've got a defence that's leaking at the moment. So maybe look at the over total, but yeah, probably a game I'm just going to sit and watch and see how Collingwood get through.
Okay, sit and watch there. Thanks, MJ. Now, Panthers and the Eels. Tonight, $7.50. Panthers, $1.08. Parramatta, $8. The line is 18.5 and the over-under 43.5.
Yeah, Panthers resting a few players. Dan Edwards, Taruva will sit out this week. Roman Nathan Cleary might be looking at the team cuts. I'd say he's probably likely to play at this stage. Doesn't matter. Panthers minus 18.5. That's the bet. Eels have played pretty well against Penrith in their season as well and truly for now. Need a minor miracle, as they say in the classic mathematical possibility, but nothing more. Probably need a bit. The Panthers by about 50, so probably not a deal for them. Penrith, unstoppable at home, perennially underrated by the market. 24-11 against the spread at Penrith Stadium. They bounced back well off a bad defensive effort, and 14 points is a bad defensive effort for the Panthers. They are 9-3 in spread finals, conceding 13 plus. In Parramatta, they win, cover when they're supposed to, and they do not win the night. They've covered just 3 of 16 as an underdog, so I'll be jumping on the Panthers here.
All over Panthers. Thank you. Okay, this will be a good game, MJ, I reckon. Brisbane St Kilda. Saturday afternoon, Brisbane, $1.23. The Saints, $4.05. The line is 26.5, over under 168.5.
Yes, second v6, so this is a good game, and both are playing for something. Brisbane have got to win to finish top 2,
yep,
and with a chance of finishing top, but definitely top 2 to get home finals, and then they've got their destiny basically only to win those 2 games and come to the MCG for the grand final. That would be their pathway. Both winning forms. Brisbane have won 3 straight. St Kilda have won 2 straight. Head-to-head, Brisbane have won their last 3 against St Kilda. They're also undefeated at the Gabba 10-0 this year, so they've got a few stats going their way. The market has come for the outside of the Saints. I think the line was a touch big. It's come down from 28 to 26. I had it around the 25, so it's probably where it should be now. St Kilda will try and make it a low-scoring game. Their defence, Brisbane want it totally offense, so 2 opposing styles. The only guide we had round 15, so they didn't play too long ago, these 2 teams, and Brisbane won down here at the Dome by 28 points. So, as I said, they've won their last 3. So they do have the wood over St Kilda. I think the total's about right, around the 168. I think it's slightly under, because I think the only way St Kilda can win the game is to make it into an unders game, and head-to-head, these 2 teams, 8-1 to the under in the last 9 games. So I think that would be the way to go, the under total.
The under there for MG. Okay, now we're going straight to the Raiders and the Broncos Saturday night. The Raiders, $3.45. The Broncos, $1.31. The line is 10.5, over under 45.5.
Yeah, Raiders on the verge of history here. Looking to become their first finals team to enter a final series with a minus 100 or worse differential. Amazing. We said the year that they would make the finals as beneficiary of the easiest draw that I've seen in like 12 or 13 years of kind of doing that kind of work. And they are certainly making a truth out of that one, because they are an awful team who can play finals. I absolutely love the Broncos. I kind of went this one thing, probably on the Raiders. The Raiders got a good recent record against the Broncos, but the Raiders, they've played just 4 of 16 at home for a win. None of their last 4 is an underdog of at least 6. But here's the key one. Broncos put 50 on the Eels last time they played. Teams are scoring 50, 28-9 against the spread the last 4 years, 15-2 against the spread when on the road. So, absolute chips on the Broncos here. I think they're going to come this, and they're going to win this by 30.
Oh, by 30. Oh, I like that. Okay, thanks, Toprope. All right, Sydney and Melbourne, Sunday afternoon. Sydney, $1.74. Melbourne, $2.05. The line is 3.5, over under 162.5.
Yeah, another good game, Nick. 7th v 4th. I mean, again, both playing for home ground advantage. They will know their situations going into this game, so that could vary. Especially Melbourne, they might not be able to move on the ladder, come to their game. So just be a bit wary if you're going to bet in this game early that Melbourne could. They say they're not going to, and obviously guys like Petrarca could be potentially playing for Brownlow, so he's already stated he wants to play, but Melbourne could rest some other players, maybe Gawn and stuff, if they can't move in the ladder. But from a form assessment, Sydney have now won 6 in a row, probably the second most in form behind Carlton in the comp right now. They have a dominant head-to-head record. They're 11-3, and they've covered 10 of 14 against Melbourne. So it's a pretty dominant record against a good side in recent years as well. And obviously at the SCG, they'll defend well. Melbourne have won 6 out of the last 7, so can't complain on their form either. But as I said, Melbourne will know their position, whereas Sydney will be playing for home ground advantage regardless. So, and also Melbourne dusted them up in round 3. I know it was a long time ago, won by 50 points. So maybe a little bit of revenge for Sydney if they get the opportunity as well. Sydney have covered their last 3 and Melbourne haven't covered their last 3, even though they've won a couple. So the betting-wise I'm surprised Sydney are actually favourite. I had Melbourne slight favourite, so I'm just going to wait till the day of. I think if I'm going to have a bet, I'm going to back Melbourne. Betting's actually strengthening for Sydney, so we'll see what plays out. I was keen on the total. The weather has changed a little, so probably less than that a little, but the over 157s when we bet, it's gone up to 162, back to 161 with a bit of weather. So again, just probably hold and wait. But this game, I'll be looking to bet something on the Sunday.
Got to be on the stings there. Okay, I'll be looking forward to your tip. Thank you. Now, top rope, this is going to be great. The Knights and the Sharks. The Knights, $1.67, Cronulla, $2.20. The line, 3.5, over under 44.5.
What a turnaround to the Newcastle Knights. Adam O'Brien was a game away from being fired for the Boilers. He was dusted. 66 on the Dogs that day, and they've won 7 straight now, and favourite to win 8 straight. One of the hardest games of the week. But Newcastle has covered 8 of their last 10 at home, 7 of their last 9 to win, 14 and 70 Spurs a home favourite. They've scored 26 plus in their 7 wins. Lead towards the Knights here.
Honestly, it is a turnaround like no other, and I think Cronulla at least brings something because they've gone all right the last 5 or 6 rounds. They've been amazing. What a game! I'm very, very excited for this one. Okay, slightly excited for this one. Let's see, Friday night, what have got the Warriors taking on the Dragons? The Warriors $1.14, the Dragons $5.75. The line is 16.5, over under 48.5.
Biggest betting game of the week for me. Dragons plus 16.5, over 48.5. Steaming into both options in this one. Dragons have a good record against the Warriors historically, always have, and they've won 3 of the last 4. But the keys here, the Dragons, they've lost only 4 games since round 3 by more than 12 points. They are not a team that's been getting absolutely hammered this year. The Warriors admittedly were one of those ones last time they met, but the Warriors have not covered any of their last 4. None of their last 3 is a double-digit favourite. Just 5 of their last 17 are scoring 28 plus. The Dragons covered 5 to 6s, underdog 12 or more. Very keen on the Knights here, and the over is a sensational bet. 14-3 when the Warriors are scoring 28 plus. 10-5 when the Dragons are at underdog of at least 2 converted tries. Love the over, love the Dragons. Chips in
there for top rope. All right, and then we go straight to, this will be good. The Dolphins and the Cowboys. The Dolphins, $3.20. The Cowboys, $1.35. The line is 8.5, over under 48.5.
Yeah, 0 chance I'm laying 8.5 points to the Cowboys on the road. They have regressed to how they were at the beginning of the year. Their finals hopes cling by a thread, but they have covered just 19 yards, 46 on the road. They're 2-10 on the road this year. Dolphins, look, their season's done and dusted, but they have covered 8 of 12, getting at least 8-point start. They almost pulled off a big upset over the Tigers last week. They get some key troops back this week. Amiso, Tabio, Fado, Collingwood, Lemu among them. So, like the Dolphins this one.
Ooh, the Dolphins. I do like it. Okay, your man, he's back. The Storm take on the Gold Coast Titans. The Storm are $1.09. The Titans $7.50. The line is 20.5, and the over under 49.5.
Key to this one here is the daytime conditions, afternoon football, rare after football for the Storm, but they've covered 12 and 19 in the day. Papa's back. He's got probably only get 30 to 40 minutes. You think kind of playing through the middle, just kind of getting accustomed to it. But the Storm have covered 18 and 28 at Amy. They've covered 6 or 7 off conceding 24 plus. Daytime conditions, they tend to beat up on bad teams. Titans have covered just 40% in the state over the last 4 years. I am very, very keen on the Storm as well.
No surprises there. Okay, My boys, the Chooks, were going to take on the West Tigers. The Chookies, $1.15. The West Tigers, $5.50. The line is 15.5, over under 45.5.
When you want to look at one team's dominance over the other, there probably isn't any better recent record than the Roosters over the Tigers. They've won 20 of the last 22. Last time they met, the Roosters won 72-6. Amazingly, in the last 24 games, the Roosters have covered 21 of them. So they have tended to thump the Tigers. Linda was the Roosters, but I'm not confident enough that they're going to be they're worthwhile laying a big number at the moment. We'll be back in the over, though. The over's hit in the last 5 of these, and these two. It is 16-7 on the Tigers for a big underdog, 19-9 on the Roosters off scoring 30 plus. I like the over in this one.
Oh, thank you, the overs. Thank you very much. And we move to Canterbury Bulldogs and the Manly Sea Eagles. Canterbury, $2.55. Eagles, $1.52. The line is 5.5, over under 46.5.
Oh, what a low game between two low teams. The Dogs are continuing to embarrass themselves. They cannot tackle for the life of them. They have 30 and 32 plus points in 6 of the last 8 or something like that. 6 of the last 8 Bulldogs games have totaled 60 points. So they can't defend. They can score a try at the moment. Manly, their over is 30-20 off a loss, 20-12 and they're scoring 22 plus. You're a game punter to take the line on either side of this one, but I'll be taking the over. It's a low game.
Oh, I'm going to tell the husband that you think his team are low. All right.
Don't worry, I said one take below as well. So.
Oh, thanks, Toprope. Okay, shall we move on to the last few AFL games?
Mm-hmm.
Hawthorn and the Dockers. Hawthorn, $1.57. Fremantle, $2.30. The line is 9.5, over under 169.5.
Yeah, so we've got the 6 games remaining. We've got 3 dead ones. So they've hidden these 2 straight up early Saturday. So this is a dead game. 16th v 14th on the ladder. Both their seasons are over down in Tassie. I did fall into Freo at the plus 13.5. I'm not overly confident, but I just can't believe Hawthorn is such a dominant favourite when they both got nothing to play for. I just think the big number at 13 was too big. It has come down to 9, so the market's trending in the right direction. Hard to get a gauge on the total. I think the total's high, but I understand why it is because, you know, the effort may not just be there. I had the total more 160 and it's at 169 at the moment. So it's pretty hard to bring in when there might just be no pressure in the game. But yeah, if I was going to have an interest, I'm going to have Freo at the plus.
Freo at the plus there for MG. All right, we move straight to North Melbourne and the Gold Coast. North Melbourne, $4. The Gold Coast, $1.22. The line is 22.5, over under 173.5.
Yeah, another dead game. No one playing for anything. 18th v 15th. Kangaroos lost 20 straight. They're going for the number 1 pick, so can't imagine they'll be trying too hard. The market's suggesting that. They opened 16.5 Gold Coast, now 22.5. I think it'll just keep going one way. This game won't be carrying any of mine. I think it will be lowish total. I understand again why it's total 173.5. Stats say it's going to go under. Gold Coast 6 straight under. Kangaroos under 5 of their last 6. But again, if there's no pressure in the game, I can understand some loose scoring, but yeah, I can't imagine the Kangaroos will be doing too much of it myself. Not a game for me.
No, definitely not. Okay, we go straight to Geelong and the Western Bulldogs. Geelong, $2.25. The Bulldogs are $1.60. The line is 5.5, over under 165.5.
Well, so far the previews aren't going great, and this one's not going to be any better. I know the AFL hate talking about tanking and stuff like this, but this market has moved 17 points already in the market. Oof. The bookies opened up on Monday. Geelong favourite minus 12.5. Now it is the Bulldogs favourite minus 5.5. Who knows where it's going to finish? Geelong have already pulled out. I think there's 6 or 8 players without the teams being listed. Mm-hmm. Half of them are in hospital getting surgeries. So they certainly checked out of this game. The Bulldogs have to win after their disgraceful effort last week. So they must have some fire in the belly. I think they'll get the job done. I think this market, it could start double figures by the time of game time. So if you're going to, you're a Bulldogs fan, you think they'll make the finals and get revenge and that, I'd get on now at the 5.5. I just can't imagine it's going to go anyway, even though it's down at Geelong. I think the Bulldogs, if they're worth any salt, especially after last week and want to play finals, they'll do a job on Geelong who aren't trying.
Of course not. Okay, let's go. The Weagles and Adelaide. West Coast, $4.40. Adelaide, $1.19. The line is 29.5, over under 179.5.
Yeah, another dead game, 17th v 13th. Unfortunately, Adelaide, with the umpiring decision last year, aren't playing for anything this week. The market has come for West Coast. They are at home, and their last probably 4 to 6 weeks have been better. So they opened at 33 down to 29.5. As you can see, they're very high total at 179.5. There could be pretty much no pressure in this game, and they might be putting on a show. They might blood some kids as well in this game, but not one for me.
God, no. Okay. Port and Richmond. Port, $1.12. Richmond, $6. The line, 37.5, over under 178.5.
Yes, one team is trying. Port Adelaide have got a chance, depending on some results, to try and get home ground advantage in a final, whereas Richmond's season is done. They had an emotional send-off to two of their champions last week, so I can't imagine they will be using this road trip anything other than an early pre-season weekend away, I would have thought. So, yeah, the market's pretty high for Port. Hasn't really moved. Again, I think most of the betting will be done on the weekend. I do like the over in this total, in this game, the over total. Bet over 175.5. So 174 to 178. I think this will start in the 180s, and I think this will be just showtime for both teams. I think there'll be plenty of points. Port Adelaide will want to get in form, and they'll do the job.
All right, over's there. Now, this is going to be a good game to end the season. Carlton take on GWS. Carlton, $1.60. GWS, $2.25. The line is 7.5, over under 167.5. Must win for both.
Yes, must win. They will know their positions fully, obviously going in.
Oh, yeah, right.
So GWS won't have to win if the Bulldogs don't beat Geelong now. Obviously, we've just spoken about the Bulldogs look like they're going to get the job done. But if the Bulldogs do win, then obviously the Giants is an elimination final. So the market's been absolutely smacked here for the Giants. Carlton opened 13.5 down to 7.5. So all the money is for the Giants, also on the back of thinking that the Bulldogs are going to have to win. So that's understandable. And Carlton may not have to do anything depending on the results. So it's a be wary. If you like the Giants, I'd get in early. If you like Carlton, bet late. As we said, Carlton have won 9 straight. GWS have won 8 out of the last 10. So they're both informed sides. Head-to-head, Carlton have won 3 straight against the Giants. So not a betting game for me, but there'll be plenty of movement, and you're going to have to bet at the right times to get the maximum value. But I think Carlton will get the job done here. I think they'll win 10 straight and go into the finals. Yeah,
they're going to have a lot of momentum going in. Obviously, everyone at the club's really excited. Never seen someone so excited in my life, honestly. All right. Thanks, MG and Toprope. That is a wrap for this week. Punters, you can get the GGOA and the Stings in the Little Birdie Live TV shop. The boys don't mind putting your bet out. Make sure you're checking Top Sports as well for all the punting and all the odds. That's a wrap for today. We will be back next week. Follow us on YouTube. Download our podcast everywhere you get your good podcasts from. We are on socials. We are on Twitter and Insta as Little Birdie TV. Have a great weekend. Happy punting. See you next week. Bye.